In icy environments, there's no room for error. The machines that operate in these conditions aren't there to impress visually or win design awards. They're there because they work, because they endure, and because they deliver results where almost nothing else does. That's exactly why the smallest off-road snow trucks are so fascinating. They don't attract attention because of their size, but because of the boldness of their existence. While the world's eyes are usually on massive tracked beasts and monstrous engines, these smaller machines quietly do the heavy work behind the scenes, often in places the big ones can't even reach. Which leads to the big question. Do you have any idea which are the smallest off-road snow trucks that actually made history? Today you'll get to know models so specific and surprising, they feel like they were pulled from a secret manual of extreme operations. Curious prototypes, forgotten legends, and utility vehicles that are as tough as they are compact. Get ready, because this journey goes way beyond what you're expecting. Stick with me, because the last machine on the list is just absurd, and no one expects what it could actually do. DMC 1350. Built in the United States by DMC Technologies, the DMC 1450 is one of the smallest tracked snow trucks ever developed specifically to operate in deep snow environments. It appeared in the 1970s, at a time when there was increasing demand for small, lightweight, and reliable vehicles for ski resort services and mountainous areas. The idea was simple: to create a compact machine that still had the strength and traction to tackle snowy, icy, and steep terrain. The DMC 1450 uses a gasoline-powered V8 engine, usually from Chevrolet's small block line, with 350 cubic inches, equivalent to 5.7 liters of displacement. This setup delivers around 250 horsepower, more than enough to move the lightweight structure of the vehicle confidently through unstable terrain. The transmission is automatic and tuned to provide constant torque at low RPMs, essential for smooth movement through snow. Its wide track system offers excellent grip even on slippery surfaces. The suspension is simple but tough, with torsion bars and hydraulic shock absorbers, providing stability even on rough or frozen ground. The cabin is narrow, with room for just 2 operators and a basic dashboard. All functionality, no frills. The DMC 1450 was widely used by aerial cable maintenance crews, ski resorts, and mountain infrastructure operators, especially in regions like Alaska and northern Canada. Its compact size allowed access to areas where larger trucks simply couldn't go. It also found its way into private expeditions and forestry services in snow-covered regions throughout the year. An interesting detail is that some units were customized for tourism in extreme environments. Companies in Canada adapted models with rear seats, panoramic windows, and even onboard heaters to offer guided glacier tours. It's proof of how versatile this little snow beast really is. With a lean but highly functional structure, the DMC 1450 is still in use today in very specific operations, and this was just the opening act. The next one combines agility with serious traction in an even more versatile format. LMC 1500 to 1800. The LMC 1500 and 1800 models were developed by American manufacturer Logan Machine Company, better known as LMC, which emerged after Thiol's snow vehicle division was sold off. Released during the 1980s and 1990s, these machines were built to improve the performance of compact snowcats for heavy-duty jobs, while maintaining the lightness and reliability needed in frozen environments. The LMC 1500 is the lighter version, typically equipped with a V6 gasoline engine of around 4 liters, delivering approximately 180 horsepower. The LMC 1800 steps up with a V8 engine, around 5 liters in size, producing about 220 horsepower, making it ideal for heavier loads. Both models use automatic transmissions with gearing optimized for low-speed, high-torque situations. Their tracks are wide and made from reinforced rubber with internal steel rails, ensuring solid grip even in soft snow or on uneven icy terrain. The suspension system features coil springs and heavy-duty shock absorbers, which provide comfort and help maintain ground contact. Both models are built with a lightweight, tubular steel frame, a front cab, and rear sections that can be adapted for cargo or equipment modules. Visually, these are low, wide machines with a sturdy appearance. Engine noise is controlled, which is perfect for operations in populated resort areas or near tourist facilities. They were widely used at ski stations, winter resorts, forest patrol services, and utility companies working on remote infrastructure. A cool detail: these models became extremely popular on the second-hand market, especially in the US and Canada. Many enthusiasts buy and refurbish LMC machines for recreational use, custom cabins, or even as mobile platforms for snow-based events. Though small in size, the LMC 1500 and 1800 have a strong track record of dependable performance and are still a go-to choice when serious work needs to get done in extreme environments. But if you think you've seen versatility, wait until you see what's next. Mercedes Unimog. The Mercedes Unimog isn't just a truck, it's a legend of German engineering. Since its launch in the late 1940s, it's been designed as a multi-purpose vehicle. But what many people don't know is that some compact versions of the Unimog were widely adapted for snow, especially the U400 and U500 series, which fit perfectly among the smallest off-road snow trucks. These specific versions come with inline 4 or 6-cylinder diesel engines, ranging from 150 to 250 horsepower, depending on the model and year. The transmission is manual, with multiple gear ratios including low-range gears, allowing the Unimog to climb snowy inclines with ridiculous ease. It features true 4x4 traction with differential lock, a must in slippery or unstable conditions like broken ice or deep snow. The suspension is fully independent with coil springs, allowing constant ground contact even on irregular terrain. Its modular chassis is a key advantage. You can equip it with snowplows, dump beds, cranes, heated cabins, or support platforms. It's truly a Swiss Army knife of snow trucks. Visually, it's a compact truck, but with a rugged, aggressive presence. Tall tires, high clearance, and a no-nonsense cab make it instantly recognizable. The diesel engine's deep, steady rumble at idle is pure mechanical confidence. These models have been widely used in alpine regions of Europe, research stations in Antarctica, military operations in mountainous zones, and road rescue services during heavy snowstorms. Their ability to perform in freezing temperatures and mechanical toughness are why they're still in use to this day. And here's a highlight worth mentioning. In 2019, a modified Unimog broke the world record for highest altitude reached by a four-wheel drive vehicle, climbing over 6,000 meters in the Chilean Andes. That alone proves the Unimog still plays in a league of its own, even among the smallest off-road snow machines. If you're enjoying this journey through machines that take on the cold like it's nothing, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And of course, subscribe and turn on notifications, because what's coming next will blow your mind. TT4. The TT4 is a tracked vehicle built in the former Soviet Union, specifically by the Altai tractor plant, Altayski Traktorny Zavod, during the 1960s. The full name translates to Transport Tractor 4, and it was originally designed for logging support and transportation in the frozen regions of Siberia. But thanks to its ruggedness and unshakable traction, it was also widely used as an off-road snow vehicle in a variety of demanding roles. It's powered by a diesel inline-4 engine with around 7 liters of displacement, delivering between 95 and 110 horsepower, depending on the version. That might not sound like much on paper, but what matters here is the high torque at low RPMs, which is exactly what's needed in harsh, icy, and remote environments. It uses a manual transmission with multiple low-range gears, perfect for pushing through snow, mud, or steep, rough trails. The TT4 has wide tracks and a basic but ultra-durable suspension system, with torsion bars and reinforced rollers. This combination allowed it to cross forest paths, frozen bogs, and snow-covered slopes without getting bogged down. The cabin is tall, with that classic Soviet industrial look. Thick metal panels, flat glass, and zero concern for comfort. Just the bare essentials to get the job done. This model was primarily used in logging operations, heavy load transport, and military logistics in terrain where wheels were useless. Its reliability and ease of maintenance led to many TT4 units being modified with enclosed trailers, cranes, mobile platforms, and even communication modules. And here's a curious detail. Even after more than 50 years, hundreds of TT4s are still in operation across Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan, many of them using original parts or custom replacements. It might not look flashy, but among field operators, it has an unshakable reputation as a machine that just won't quit. But if you think Soviet machines are all about brute force, wait until you meet the next one. A lightweight, articulated Swedish legend in the world of snow vehicles. Heglands BV206. The Heglands BV206, better known as the BV206, is one of the most recognizable snow off-road vehicles in the world, especially in military and rescue operations. Manufactured in Sweden since the early 1980s by Heglands and Soner, the BV206 was created to transport troops and equipment over terrain no ordinary truck could handle. Soft snow, thin ice, swamps, or deep mud. It consists of two articulated units, with a front cab and a rear compartment connected by a flexible joint. This design gives it incredible mobility over uneven ground, along with ideal weight distribution. Its most common engine is a 2.8-liter V6 gasoline engine producing around 120 horsepower. Not much in raw numbers, but paired with the BV's low weight and full-time track drive, it's extremely effective. The tracks are made of wide-profile rubber, covering a large surface area. This results in very low ground pressure, allowing the BV206 to float over snow without sinking. The suspension is independent in both units, using a simple but reliable setup that absorbs impacts even at low speeds. While it was primarily adopted by the Swedish military, the BV206 was also used by armed forces in the UK, Germany, Canada, and Chile. In the civilian world, it's deployed by alpine rescue teams, fire departments, and polar explorers. It can carry up to 17 passengers and still haul extra cargo, making it ideal for remote and high-risk missions, including evacuations. Here's a striking fact. The BV206 was used in Chernobyl disaster recovery efforts, precisely because it could cross contaminated and debris-laden areas without damaging the ground or getting stuck. A detail that shows just how far this machine went beyond its original mission. If this articulated Swedish beast already impressed you, brace yourself. The next one is basically a Canadian tank built for snow. Bombardier Muskeg. The Bombardier Muskeg is one of the most iconic snow vehicles in North America. Designed in the 1950s by the legendary Bombardier Company in Canada, it was born out of necessity, a practical solution for crossing massive frozen areas in the Canadian interior with safety, stability, and traction. The name Muskeg comes from the boggy, frozen flatlands typical of the boreal region, the very terrain this machine was built to conquer. The Muskeg is powered by a Chrysler V8 gasoline engine with 318 cubic inches of displacement, or about 5.2 liters, producing around 200 horsepower. Combined with an automatic transmission and steel and rubber track drive, the vehicle could travel across snow, partially frozen terrain, or even fine ground without losing traction or sinking. Its suspension is rigid, built with semi-elliptical springs and heavy-duty bearings. This didn't make the ride comfortable, but it gave the machine outstanding durability. It could run for days across broken terrain without mechanical issues. The design is boxy, with a front cab and a rear compartment for cargo or passengers. Its reinforced steel frame and low center of gravity made it extremely stable, even on slopes or tight turns. The Muskeg was widely used by mining companies, utility crews, and forestry services. It was ideal for transporting equipment, cable reels, utility poles, and even small towers in areas without roads. It was common to see Muskegs operating in convoys, with multiple units pulling essential supplies through northern Canada. And here's a lesser-known fact. The Muskeg was also used in pipeline construction in frozen regions. It was one of the few machines capable of operating during seasonal thaw, when most heavy vehicles would simply sink. Despite the decades that have passed, many Muskeg units are still active, some fully restored and used for tourism or private collections. Theol Sprite 1200. The Theol Sprite 1200 is a true American classic among compact snow utility vehicles. Manufactured by Theol Corporation, a company founded by Charles J. McCarty, in the United States, it was primarily produced during the 1960s and 1970s, becoming one of the most popular models in Theol's line of snowcats built for civil and government use. Its purpose was simple and effective: a light, reliable machine capable of operating in deep snow and hard-to-reach frozen regions. The Sprite 1200 was typically equipped with an inline six-cylinder gasoline engine, manufactured by either Ford or Chrysler, depending on the year and version. With a displacement of about 4.9 liters, the engine delivered between 150 and 160 horsepower, more than enough to move the vehicle's lightweight frame efficiently, even through soft snow. It used rubber tracks with internal steel reinforcement, which distributed the vehicle's weight evenly to prevent it from sinking. The suspension featured independent bogie wheels with springs and swing arms, ensuring constant ground contact. This setup gave the Sprite excellent stability, even on uneven or sloped trails. The cabin was simple, with 2 seats up front and a rear compartment for cargo or, in many cases, benches for transporting passengers. Its range of use was extremely wide. The Sprite was adopted by ski resorts, forestry services, electric utility companies, telecom crews, and even rescue agencies operating in snowy zones. A key advantage of the Sprite was its easy maintenance, since it used standard automotive components from the era. Many Sprite 1200s stayed in service for decades with minimal modifications, which also made them highly valued among collectors and remote area operators. Today, many of these units have been fully restored and customized, featuring retro paint jobs, refurbished interiors, and even modern engines. You'll still find them running in the US and Canada, often repurposed for tourist snow tours in mountain regions. And here's a fun fact. Before making snow vehicles, Theol was an aerospace company. They even produced components for rockets, meaning the Sprite came from engineering born for outer space. If you've made it this far, chances are you love these machines as much as we do. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and drop a like, because what's coming next is wild. And if you know someone who's into off-road snow beasts, share the video with them. Heglands BV202. Before the famous Bombardier 206, there was the Heglands BV202, the direct forerunner of Sweden's articulated snow machines. Built by Heglands and Söner in Sweden, the BV202 was developed in the early 1960s to meet the needs of the Swedish Army for movement through deep snow, frozen wetlands, and ice-covered forests. It was one of the first truly effective articulated transport vehicles for extreme environments. The BV202 features 2 articulated sections, a front unit for the engine and driver, and a rear unit for cargo or passengers. This articulation gave it exceptional maneuverability, even on narrow trails or tight turns. It used a Volvo B18 gasoline engine, a 4-cylinder inline engine with 1.8 liters of displacement, delivering around 82 horsepower. While modest on paper, the vehicle's lightweight and excellent traction made it a true snow machine. Its tracks were made of rubber with internal reinforcement, running on a simple but efficient suspension system. Ground pressure was extremely low, which allowed the BV202 to float across soft snow, something traditional wheeled vehicles simply couldn't do. It could even float on water and cross small lakes or rivers, adding another layer to its versatility. For decades, the BV202 was used in military patrols, rescue missions, supply transport, and technical crew deployment in severe winter conditions. It was also adopted in Norway, Finland, and mountainous parts of the UK. Even though it was later replaced by the BV206, the BV202 left a significant legacy. It was reliable, lightweight, easy to operate, and could be repaired with basic tools, a huge advantage in remote regions where support was limited. Interestingly, many units are still in use today, either restored by enthusiasts or serving in Arctic regions with updated engines. The BV202 remains a popular sight at military history events and classic vehicle shows. But if the BV202 was ahead of its time, the next machine on the list is something straight out of the Cold War, a military tractor with the soul of a survivor. STZ-5. The STZ-5 is one of the most recognizable Soviet artillery tractors from the 1930s. But what few people know is that it was also used in civilian and military roles in snowy environments, especially during and after World War II. It was built in Stalingrad by the Stalingrad Tractor Factory, STZ, and designed as a compact military tractor with tracks and a closed cab. Its engine was a 4-cylinder gasoline engine, with 7.5 liters of displacement generating around 50 horsepower. That may seem weak by today's standards, but with high torque and a lightweight chassis, the STZ-5 could tow heavy artillery through mud, snow, and even destroyed roads. The manual transmission had multiple low-range gears, perfect for slow, controlled movement over tough terrain. Its steel tracks were short but solid, providing reliable traction even in deep snow or blizzards. The suspension was basic, using rigid axles and springs, but tough enough to handle battlefield conditions. The enclosed cab protected the crew from harsh weather, and the rear section could be used to carry ammunition, artillery parts, supplies, or even personnel. During the war, the STZ-5 saw heavy action on the Eastern Front, particularly in winter campaigns like the Battle of Moscow and Stalingrad, where snow and freezing temperatures crippled conventional wheeled vehicles. After the war, many STZ-5 units were transferred to civilian use, especially in agriculture and forestry operations in Siberia and the Ural Mountains. Some were modified with support wheels, while others kept their original tracked configuration. The STZ-5 is one of the few vehicles from that era to survive in considerable numbers, with several units preserved in museums and historical collections. And even though it's a product of another time, it still impresses with its ability to function in extreme cold and unforgiving terrain. Fiat SPA TM40. Little known outside military and historical circles, the Fiat SPA TM40 is a true rarity among lightweight off-road trucks with hybrid traction, combining tracks and wheels. Developed in Italy in the late 1930s, it was designed by SPA, Società Piemontese Automobili, a division of Fiat, to serve the Royal Italian Army in transport missions across rugged terrain, including snow-covered mountain regions and alpine zones. The TM40 was powered by a 4-cylinder inline gasoline engine with approximately 5.4 liters of displacement, producing around 57 horsepower. That may sound modest today, but thanks to its compact and lightweight frame, it was an extremely capable towing vehicle with high traction and low fuel consumption. The manual transmission had multiple low-range gears, delivering steady torque at very low speeds, exactly what's needed in low-grip conditions like snow or frozen mud. What made the TM40 stand out was its hybrid drive system, conventional wheels at the front and short tracks at the rear. This gave the vehicle surprising maneuverability and excellent stability on slopes and narrow trails. The steel tracks were short but tough, effectively distributing the vehicle's weight to prevent it from sinking into snow or soft terrain. The cabin was open, with exposed seats and minimal controls, typical for the era. Still, many units were equipped with canvas covers or improvised frames to offer basic protection against the cold. It was mainly used to tow medium artillery, transport ammunition, and support logistical operations in mountainous areas, especially in the Italian Alps. During World War II, the TM40 saw action on various fronts, including Greece, Yugoslavia, and North Africa. But it was in the Alps and Eastern Europe's harsh winters that it proved its worth. Despite the extreme conditions, it earned a reputation for being mechanically reliable and more capable in snow than many wheeled vehicles of the time. After the war, very few units survived, but several have been restored by Italian collectors and military history enthusiasts. Today, the Fiat SPA TM40 is seen as a rare piece in the evolution of European military off-road vehicles. a reminder of an era when engineering had to adapt creatively to snow, ice, and the unpredictable realities of war. Throughout this video, we explored 10 true relics from the off-road snow world. Small, discreet, and often forgotten machines, but each one carries stories of endurance, innovation, and toughness in the most extreme environments imaginable. These aren't just trucks. They're survival tools, workhorses, and in many cases, symbols of an era when technology was more mechanical than digital, more practical than aesthetic, and yet absolutely brilliant. They prove that even small machines can do huge things, from towing artillery across frozen battlefields to hauling gear through untouched forests. Each of these vehicles left its mark on the snow. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these small snow trucks would you like to drive on a frozen trail? Which one did you find the most interesting, most rugged, or just plain insane? Drop your answer in the comments. I read them all and really want to know what you think. And of course, if you love machines that conquer the extremes, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week, we bring you the most incredible vehicles that dominate ice, snow, and the impossible. See you in the next video.